Hey, everybody. I'm Katie Morton, editor-in-chief of Search Engine Journal, and this is Mordy Oberstein, who is the founder of Unify Brand Marketing, and he's an expert about branding. And so I'm so excited to be doing this series with Mordy. I know that I'm going to learn a lot, and so will you.
I'm stoked about this. I see that, I have pure self-interest. I see a lot of performance marketing and brand marketing fusing together, and people on the performance side talking about brand, which I'm excited to show them like, okay, yeah, here's exactly why if you're on the performance side, you should be talking about brand.
Yeah, well, especially these days, right?
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about, Morty's going to teach us a lot about why meaning matters most in branding and how to build it.
Yeah.
Tell me about meaning in brand.
Meaning matters most because meaning is absolutely everything for brand. So brand is fundamentally about connection. Everything starts from there. And that's kind of why branding it's compounding over time, which is a little bit different than say like performance marketing or you're just running PPC ads. Brand compounds over time. Just like you don't get married after one date, unless I guess you're in Vegas. You don't form a bond with an audience after one activity or one asset or one moment. Connection compounds. It's also very associative. Like think Nike back in the day, building up on the associations off of the back of Michael Jordan, literally off the back of Michael Jordan, and reverse also. But at the basis of all of that is meaning, because fundamentally, I know this might sound a little bit weird. We as human beings are fundamentally creatures of meaning, not utility. So everything we do in a weird way is a search for meaning. The search for meaning is the search for being, the search for existing. Wow. I know we just got like super existential like 2 minutes in, but that's actually good because branding is super existential. And that's why the glue that holds connection together is meaning. And I'll prove it to you. So imagine you had a friend, which for me is weird to imagine, hard to imagine. But then every week you have this friend. You went out for, I don't know, to a baseball game every day, which would be impossible because they don't play baseball every day and they stop playing for 5 months. But imagine they play baseball all year round every single day for 5 years. Or you played, Dungeons and Dragons in your mom's basement, whatever floats your boat. And you did this once a week for 5 years. That's got to be a good friend to keep doing that for 5 years together. But that's nowhere near as close as you are to, let's say, like your mom, assuming that you were close, whatever. I don't want to get into that stuff. But conceptually, right? Even if you were hardly ever see your mom, you're still far closer to why? Because your friend, in this case, right? Friends can be different also, but in this particular case, they help you relax, you have a good time, you connect over common interests and that kind of stuff. Your mom helps shape who you are. Like your identity, she provided for you, she gave you life, all of that deeper stuff. And that's far more meaningful than what your friend in this particular case provides you with. Okay, so the more meaningful, the more core to the actual existence, the more connection is possible. So the more core you as a brand are to your audience's actual existence, the stronger the bond. The more meaningful your brand is, which is why meaning matters, the more meaningful your brand is, i.e., the more it speaks to things that are core integral to your audience and their very being, the more connection you're going to have to your audience. So there is no brand without meaning because there's no genuine connection without meaning. So meaning has to be at the core of your brand strategy. And I will tell you 99.9999, I can go on percent, it is not. And the net outcome of that is you spend tons of time either trying to build up a brand that doesn't work, or you spend tons of time and money trying to elicit a reaction, whether it be a payment, whether it be a social media, or whatever it is from your audience. And it's like moving a mountain. If you want your performance to not be moving mountains, you need to have a brand that has meaning. If you want to push user activations, you first have to connect in a meaningful way. Because what you're basically asking a user to do, when you ask them to convert or whatever it is, you're basically asking them to give you a loan for $500, whatever you're charging for your product. You're asking them to do it to a total stranger. And when was the last time you opened your wallet for a total stranger? I mean, you should. It's going to be generous, but this is business, not charity.
Wow. That's deep.
I know. We remember. So, but I do want to say, like, there are practical things to do here. Like, I know that was very conceptual, but I did that on purpose because brands should be conceptual. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to start with the pragmatics of it, but there are actual practical things you can be doing here So just to run through a few of them. One thing that helps me is to think about it at the micro level. When you start talking about connection and your audience and creating relationships and getting people to be motivated, when you keep it at the micro level, like between, you say, you and a friend or you and another person, whatever it is, it's really easy to see how that works. But for some reason, when we zoom out to brands and companies and whatever, we start to lose that basic sense of reality, and those things become difficult. So fine, keep it at the micro level. It's like economics. You understand at the micro level, like it becomes easier to extrapolate those concepts out. Same thing. Keep it at the micro level. What works for actual relationships, what works for actual identity, what works for actual resonance between two people also works at the macro level, and extrapolate out from there. The second thing, this is probably, I should have started with this, probably more important than that one. Maybe not. I don't know. No, it definitely is to differentiate between surface-like emotions and core integral emotions. So for example, and by the way, you have to be honest about that. So for example, one I always use is fun is a very surface-like emotion, whereas things like connection, overcoming struggle, those kind of things are much more deep and core meaningful. So you need to be honest with yourself and understand like what kind of emotional targeting your brand identity actually goes after. And if it's surface-like, don't do that. To help you do that, you can use a rubric to break down those emotional experiences. The way I kind of do it is, what kind of emotional, like if you're trying to elicit an emotional reaction from an audience, if you're targeting an emotional state of mind rather with an audience, is that sort of, is it surface-like? Is it neutral? Is it mildly deep? Does it have like significant resonation? Meaning, whatever emotion that you're targeting, there's a significant and noticeable emotional pull to that concept.